Okay, we're back on the TORO, the 2100 Workman. I got the bench seat off. I just flipped it up there. The two seats detach without tools or anything. You just flip them forward and they come off. And then you got to undo these. I think there's like 8 bolts here. 2 of them are broken on this plate. I hope no more of them break. Yeah, there's 8. There used to be 8. It's pretty simple. And then I've undone the bolts from underneath. 1, 2. There's 8 of those, I think. And there's the torsion bar. You can see how this thing works now. There's a huge, like one of those trailer suspension type of torsion bars. There's a large square tube, small solid square, and then there's rubber. And these are put together probably. They heat warm this up, and they probably drop this into something really cold like liquid nitrogen or frozen ice or something. And once they slip together, they never come apart again. So that's your suspension. Now that's bolted to the box, the back frame, and this is bolted to the front suspension. I think there's a piece in the back too. Yeah, so it's the front floor, where you sit right to the front is kind of got suspension, and there's no suspension on the back, but the front wheels are kind of independent from the back end, so it works pretty good. I can't really complain too much about it. It's a cheap suspension system. Not a lot of moving parts, and it works. Seems to work fine, but we're having an issue with the fuel. It's just not getting. It just happened. I wouldn't say it. I was driving along, and it just all of a sudden started doing this. It was not getting fuel, so I used one of these little auxiliary tanks, and I was able to keep driving it that day. And I just ran a hose off this right here, this little barb, right into the carburetor, gravity fed kind of thing. So I thought it was either a hole in a hose or something, or the fuel pump, which I can't really raise the box right now because there's a bunch of stuff in it. So there's a little pulse fuel pump. It works off the pulse of the engine. So you got like on the crankcase, what do you call it? It's not vacuum, but whatever it is. They work pretty flawlessly, those things. So I changed the pump, the little pulse pump, and it didn't seem to fix the problem. So I'm thinking either the hose inside the tank fell off, or this hose, because I changed the other hose up to the fuel filter, has got a hole in it. So I'm thinking of changing that line, and then we'll test drive it. And I got a new battery for it, because the battery that we had it was like kind of, it would work for a day or two, and then you had to put the battery on charge. If you used it a lot one day, you had to charge it at night. Because this thing, it doesn't run when you're off the machine. Like, you can't just let it sit and idle. So it never charges back up. So if you're just moving it short distances all the time, it's constantly draining the battery to the point where you need to drive at a big distance. And I think this is live wire here, so I'll throw that down there. Yeah, because it's such a pain to try and boost this thing, you got to go by an opening at the back of the frame. I ran that booster kind of cable wire, and it sits inside the storage bin there in the bench seat, so you can actually hook booster cables up without lifting the box or slipping in from behind. We're off subject now, but that's the location to hook your battery cables to. It's such a terrible spot. If this thing's stuck in the mud and the battery dies, and you got a box full of firewood or something, and you can't raise the box, it's a really poor design. I think the battery should have been located outside the frame, which I may make a battery box and put the battery outside the frame. It just seems to be a low priority for for now until I have, you know, if I have a day to spend doing that. The other problem with this thing is the air. The intake for the air is right underneath the frame there. It just sucks up all the dirt and dust that the wheels raise up. So that's a real problem with these machines. It should have had like a snorkel. Okay, so we'll trace that hose. Goes right through the frame there. I am going to have to empty the box and raise it up. So I'll take a few things out and then I'll bring it back. But I'm pretty sure it's one or the other. It has to be one or the other. It has to be this hose right here. Probably has a hole, or you know what? I'm going to check this one. We'll get the vacuum. We'll clean up all this dirt on here. And then we'll pull this. We're going to pull that right out and check that hose inside the tank. If that fell off, then it's definitely not going to get any fuel. I think this is one of these two things is a problem. I don't have a problem changing this hose because I think I have a brand new one I bought. And, you know, it'll be new, so it'll be good for... This is 20 years old this year, this machine. It's a 2006, so it's around 20 years old. Yeah, so it's time for stuff like that. Like fuel lines don't last forever. They break down. A lot of things break down at 20 years. Even if you use it a lot or a little bit, things just... They don't make rubber like they used to make. And so therefore, you know, if you have to change it, you have to change it. Face the reality. And I don't think it's water in the gas or anything like that. Because this stopped working right when we had a drought, kind of. So I'll get the vacuum going. It's right here. We'll clean that all off. Clean around there. I might even start the compressor and blow that dirt out of those little cracks right there. And then we'll pull that out. See if we can pull it out. I pulled that fuel line out. I don't see anything wrong with it. So, got a nice solid looking plastic line coming down. I don't think there's supposed to be anything on the end. But it's like up to here, the gas. It's half full. So I don't think it's that line. It didn't fall off. It's not going to fall off. So I got a new piece of fuel line. We're going to change this piece right here, which goes under the box, and then we'll try it. We'll put the new battery in, and we'll see if we can get it running. It didn't run the last time. It just sits there and turns over and over and over. And if I put that auxiliary fuel tank on, it fires right up and runs fine. So I know for a fact it's a fuel issue, but trying to find why it's a fuel issue seems to be, you know, a difficult thing. So that's what we'll do. We'll just unclamp these. I hope that line's long enough. I think it is. And then I gotta clean out everything out of the box and flip it up. So I think the battery's still connected. So yeah, it won't go up. Too heavy. So I'll lift a bunch of stuff out of here. You know, and then yeah. So it connects right underneath there, right there. So okay, we got a new hose is stuck on there for now. I think it's long enough to replace that last little bit of hose I got over there, which I haven't changed yet, but it ran fine with the auxiliary tank, so I didn't think it was that hose. And I looked this one over pretty good. I don't see any cracking at all. There's nothing pointing to the fact that there's your problem. But there could be something, I don't know. Best thing is just look it over really good, but I don't see a thing. I don't see a thing wrong with this hose. But that doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with it. So we're going to charge up the battery now. I use this battery to dump the dump trailer a few times, so it's run down a little bit. So we'll give it a little slow charge back up. And put the key, there we go. And put the choke on. I think what I need to do is put the I need to put the jack underneath and get it up in the air, because you can't test this thing unless it's jacked up. The wheel, it starts to go, you know. And I don't see fuel flowing through there yet, so. Oh, yes, I do see some fuel. Little tiny bit in the bottom there. Okay, so let's get the jack. It's right there. We'll just jack up the back end and give it a little test run. Okay. Don't lose that knob. Yeah, there's not enough juice. We're gonna have to let it charge up some more. Yeah, and you see where the battery is. It's in a terrible location. So I almost need to take the box off, change that battery, because it's just so hard to get in there. And my plan was always to make a little battery box and mount it outside the frame right here, which I still might do, but just for today I think I'm gonna stick it back in that corner. I'll I'll leave this red cable on there though, because you know it is a good way to charge it up and to boost it if necessary. But I'll give it 5 minutes, just charge it up a little bit. There's the brand new fuel pump, a little pulse pump. Those things are on all kinds of air-cooled engines and outboard motors. Okay, it should start. I had the choke on, so why wouldn't it run? Don't know. Give it 5 minutes. Okay, I got it forward. Nothing. You know, there might be water in that fuel. Yeah, that's the other possibility. It may just be water. I want to take a little fuel sample. I'm going to dump what's in that filter out into a cup or something and check and see if that's water or gas. That might be the only thing. I found the problem. So bypassed everything, kept bypassing everything. Finally I hooked up this little auxiliary tank right to that line, to the pump, and it ran. So I thought, well, something's blocked. Maybe it's this brand new hose. Nope, I've never seen it in my life. This filter is completely blocked. You can see the end of that filter looks like it's right up against the outlet. So it's defective. I've never had a fuel filter defective before. Yeah, and it's got an arrow. I had it hooked up correctly because there is an arrow pointing which direction the flow is. So it's not that. So I'm gonna go shop, and I guess I'm gonna go buy a new fuel filter, another new fuel filter, and this is not. That's why nothing would flow. So we still don't know if we've corrected any problems. These old fuel lines. This is the one I changed today. This is the one. No, the one that I changed a while back now. I don't know where I put it. Pretty sure it's around here somewhere. So I gotta go run and get a filter. I'll go down to Canadian crappy tire, Chinese tire I call it, and buy a inline fuel filter. And then we'll start again. I'm gonna run the compressor and see if it'll blow some air through that at least. There's a new one. I already know the results, but I'm going to show you guys. Brand new fuel filter. Nothing goes through. No air coming out of there. I tried it back. I said maybe the arrow is pointing the wrong way. I tried it this way. Nothing. Nothing comes through it. It's completely... I think it's glued shut. I think the glue that holds that paper is glued right... I don't know. I'm going to crack it open. I don't remember where I bought this. I think I have I know I have a receipt for it somewhere. See it bulging out. Yeah, it is. No air is going through that, so I'm going to run down to Crappy Tire, Chinese Tire, get myself a fuel filter, and at least we'll start with something that works. Maybe. I'm going to try blowing some air through the next one before I even attempt hooking it up to the machine. That didn't get very far. Thanks for watching.